Alright, so what were some of the questions that you had for me? If you remember any of them, or you can just dialogue. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
The question that I had that may be a great start to this is, what is it to settle in your body, in your being, to be completely present?
Breath. Breath brings you back to all of that. When you can completely sit there and not have any type of other feeling or any other type of emotion or thoughts that come up that will cause you to be on your, whatever it is, the point of being completely present, people find that respectful. You command the space that you're in, you become more magnetic. They can even come and sit next to you and feel that you have a lot of stuff going on because your auric field could be just chaotic.
When you're not present.
When you're not present. When you are, people are like, wow, you're so calm. Because you're able to command every cell in your body to just relax at a homeostasis, like a field of infinite potentiality, 0 point field. So how do you achieve that? It's through breath work, it's through meditation, it's through, you can eat light deprivation, it's through all those things. Silence does that, even being outside, and even though the cars are driving by, if you sit there and you close your eyes, you'll start to tune the cars out. You'll probably start hearing birds out there. You're gonna hear the way of the wind moving. All of those things, and they say tune in, but it's always there.
What you choose to.
What do you choose to?
So, can you explain to me what you help people with the most?
It seems like it's the life and death. Like there's cycles that they go through. I'm always catching someone when they're on the brink of something big. I'm always catching someone where they're looking for not necessarily the next best thing, but they've done everything and this is okay, this is my final straw, this is what I want. And when I find that I work with those people, those are the ones that are the most transformative. Those are the ones I don't really hear from. If I do hear from them, they want to continue on to grow in that space. What I find is that when I work with someone in multiple sessions, they're not the same. There's always growth. It could take a couple of weeks until I see them again because it translates into their field where things are different for them. So I take people on a journey where this is where you desire to go, not your want, your desire, and embed that in their body. And what starts to happen, they either have the confidence or the clarity to be like, I don't want to be here, or oh my God, I can actually do this. They see and feel and believe the clarity that they can do whatever it is they set out to do, or whatever daily action or whatever it is. Whatever the extra oomph is that they needed is there. And sometimes I find when not necessarily removing things out the body, but just shifting the energy of the body, it aligns them to their higher self. And by aligning them to their higher self, their highest potential, their highest timeline, if you want to call it quantum leaping, biohacking, all of these things, it's the exact same concept but so much more, because it's not something that you have to continuously do. Once you understand just the basic laws that exist and how it pertains to your body, and practice that every day.
Ooh, so can you give me an example of that?
Okay. So recently I was learning about the Hermetic principles. So we have to understand that the energy that we give off is going to give biofeedback, right? So I could be telling myself one thing in my head. The energy that I'm giving off is completely different. So in some instances, you could have people tell you, well, you know, you're acting like this, right? Or you know, you need to do this, right? And you could be hearing it over and over and over, but not realizing that those people are your mirrors, they're reflective points. There's a law of correspondence, there's a law of vibration, there's a law of polarity, there is a law of, did I say law of gender? There's everything that we have to understand, that it is all mind, and at the same time, because it is all mind, I have the ability to change things. So when I wake up in the morning, in assimilation, I tell myself I am in the highest timeline. I am in my highest timeline. I am in my highest timeline. And having someone there, this is why relationships are so key, because your relationships will fuel you or they will deprive you of the oxygen that you breathe. And it's true. You can even do scientific studies on this to find that, when you put somebody in an environment that literally takes from them, they start to get more CO2 backup, immune diseases that show up. It's a breeding ground for bacteria because you remove the one element that helps free flow. It's fusion. So with someone that's feeding into who you are, it provides those dopamine spaces, because those are all pressurized spaces, for you to be able to reach that velocity, because it's pressure. And when we reach that space, we learn how to alchemize, the trauma and whatnot. And when we reach that space, so much more of us becomes exposed of what's there. It's like me having a dim light, and then all of a sudden I change the light bulb, and then the light is brighter. Now I start to see that there's more in the room.
So I'm going to repeat what I heard you say.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm hearing is how people stay on their highest timeline, and make sure they're aligned with their highest self, and make sure that they're being fed by the people around them, that reciprocation is there, that they're alive and growing and in joy.
You mean enjoy or in joy?
Both.
Okay, so how would that translate? We gotta understand that not everything's gonna be good, because everything that's gonna be good, you're gonna be weird.
You have to work with the highest.
And that's exactly how nature works. You gotta learn how to ride those waves. That's why when you're around people, let's say, to hold you accountable, hey man, did you do this today? Hey man, we need to go out. I don't feel like I did. And then you have a friend that literally shows up at your door and says, let's go. You need people like that in your life. You need something like that in your life to show you that there's more. It's a mirror.
Yeah.
It's a mirror. So if I'm feeling down, and it happens to the best of us, which is why they say all healers need another healer, all practitioners need another practitioner, all mentors need a mentor. You always need someone above you to be able to cultivate the next step, because direction is following the direction of the greats who've done it before you. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna follow it through the highest timeline. Who did it the best? Right? And that's what the elite do. They go for not just everybody's gonna be my mentor. I'm gonna look at everything of who you are. And if you are where I wanna be, I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna shadow you. I'm gonna do everything you do, because that got you there. So I'm empowering people to ride on the basic fundamentals, principles, and laws that exist, and use them with their own intention, what they desire. So much of us are like, just give me the list of what I need to do. I can hand you that list and you'll look over it. Or you won't even, like, when I mean look over it, it's like look over it. You're not gonna even look at it, right? So what is the pain point? My mentor told me like this: when the pain is great enough, you'll take immediate action. And that is everything. Whether you're about to lose your house, whether you're about to lose your job, whether you're about to lose your car, your boyfriend, your family, some type of loss that you knew that you could have taken care of, and it didn't have to come to an extreme. So life is going to keep showing you over and over why this is for you or why it's not for you, and it will move in cycles. Which is why, to understand that the things that we're seeing outside of ourselves, we must ask, what is this teaching us? Because it's an inversion process. because you exist here, another form of you exists on the other side. And by that person balancing that side and you balancing this side, you both meet in the middle. How to manage temperance.
So when you talk about the other side, are you talking about a different reality? Are you talking about heaven or
a different reality? It has nothing to do with any of what we think that's high versus low. It's more of like that way to that way horizontally. It's more of that. And when you're talking like dimensional spaces, you'll be talking more of like this. It's perpendicular space. So here's your parallel self, here's your dimensional self, and here's the graph going up.
So your highest self would be like what?
An axon in that grid. So everything of the field in the matrix, it looks like a grid. It's a grid. Flower of life. Pull it out. It's a grid. Sacred geometry. It's a grid. A grid that exists on different frequencies, and it changes and it'll vibrate in that space. Frequency, vibration.
So like 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, it's a grid when you collapse it, or?
It might look like it's collapsed, but it's not. They hold the structure. There's a grid that's there already, right? This is the 1, this is the 2, this is the 3. So by the 2 holding itself here, dimensionally, I am able to hold a space in time, which is a sphere, 0-point reactor. This side of myself had to exist for this side of myself had to exist to bring this together, to bring this together.
So it's almost like who I was last year and who I am now.
Who you were last year and who you're who you're portraying to be is holding who you are now. And that's the temperance. Learning how to learn from past tense, because it really isn't past tense, and then going into your future self, and it's just aligning with your higher self. So if I'm in the middle, this is my present, I have the utmost ability and the choice. When you realize that it's no longer a choice, you'll realize that that's the only choice. But we are given choice. Choice is either you move forward or you move backward. Those are the only 2 options. So another mentor always told me that we're going to do something, an act of love, either because we want love or we want to receive love. Either we're giving it or we're receiving it. Every decision that we have made is a basis of that. Why do you want to work? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do that? And then when you get to the nitty bitty of what it really is, what people want, they want to give love or they want to be loved. And every action and reaction and intention is out of that.
Is one, quote unquote, is one better than the other?
No.
Okay.
No, because you're learning how to ride the wave. We're seeing in movies right now that it's very gray, that the gray area is huge. It's not white and black. The white and black puts labels on things. Now let's say, I'm gonna give you an extreme. What if a serial killer, you find out that they're going around killing all these people and one of them was your little sister? But then you learn the story of the serial killer and what they went through.
It would be very hard to have compassion for them, but I think the only way for you to move on with your life would probably be to forgive.
It's showing you compassion on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
That is the nitty gritty of life. That we look at the experiments that way, but because we're in it, we're like, oh my God, and that's the morality. It's the morality of life. If it was given a certain way, that okay, yeah, people die, whatever, like it was just different, would it have had that impact based off of your conditioning and your belief on life and death? Because it's mainstream.
Sorry, say that again.
So we're being told mainstream that this is bad, that's bad, a serial killer. You're supposed to behave this way.
Good, bad. Good,
Yes,
bad.
you're supposed to sway. So you find that in some instances, like people find God, that's the only way that they can forgive God knows who, right? And even that can be a buffer. But even so, to be able to move past something that deep of what that lesson is teaching you, is the depth of compassion and care, and also to show you that there is a paradigm where this is being done to people, that people become so traumatized that they act this out over and over and over again, and it results in the same type of women, men, whoever that they target keeps dying over and over, instead of getting to the issue of what it is. And the issue of what it is, that this person was extremely traumatized as a kid, or however, or rejected. What was his name? The one with the Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy got rejected by his first girlfriend, and that never left him. And that's the reason why he killed all those women, because he got that rejected. So imagine if somebody like that was taught that. So how do you prevent it from happening again? These are things that we're not talking about. So when I started studying serial killers, I had to understand what creates the act of you wanting to do it over and over and over. Jeffrey Dahmer, the guy that killed all these people and slaughtered them, he was creating the ultimate human that would not leave him, because he witnessed his mother leaving him all the time. His mother was on prescription drugs. They gave her so much in the 70s, I think he born in so much around that time frame that is completely illegal today. And what you find is that the dopamine of the child, the dopamine of the mother, the dopamine of the child comes from the mother. It's a direct connect line to the placenta. It acts in the action and the motor movements and how a child perceives their world, meaning the pleasures, the ability to feel. It removed all of that from him as she was taking these drugs. So let's go a little bit deeper. The prescription drugs that are out there, they understand, because I was able to figure this out as I'm looking at the chemistry. I look at the chemical structure of, let's say, your opioid receptor. I look at the chemical structure of that, right? Then I start to break it down a little bit more, and chemistry taught us what a complete bond or a covalent bond or an unstable bond looks like. So I realized that we are unstable bonds, and we're consistently looking to bind with something outside of us, hence relationships, hence why we seek love, validation, compassion, all these things, right?
Even, could you say God?
Yes, we seek that because we're seeking for something to bind to make it whole. We don't feel whole until we bind, and there's a reason for that. There's a chemical structure behind it. So if I'm giving you, and I know this, and I'm one of those, right? And I'm looking at the chemical data, I'm gonna build something to where you are gonna want this. So how do I do that? I work beyond your mouth, I work beyond your sensories, and I go right into the receptors. So what I was finding is that these prescription drugs became covalent once they bonded with our opioid receptors, meaning that that's our reality, and everything around us, we can't perceive it because we're only going to want that. So it's a chemical reaction. Everything is a chemical reaction in our daily lives. So if we understand that, then that means temperance. Temperance meaning learning how to balance the good and the bad within you, the positive and the negative.
So that you're not...
You can't be all the way good, and you can't be all the way bad.
Is that like in emotions or attachment or...
All of it. All of it. You ever find that the most powerful people, they can have the most strong attachments? Or they can be a little bit of a sociopath? When we're in those spaces, we're not taught the emotional intelligence that it takes for attachments, that it takes for relationships, and that takes things personally. To understand where a person is really coming from, their perceptive space, right? I'm not so much, the more that I can do that for somebody else, it helps me understand myself more. Right? The more that I can become more reflective, because at the end of the day, when I ask you, well, what is it that you want to do? I want to help people. Well, then how do you do that if you can't perceive yourself?
Yeah. Like how politics and the entertainment industry,
all of that scripted,
attracts people with, it's like people with very strong wills can, if they're not willing to open their mind and see in other mirrors.
So people that are not willing to see in other mirrors, whatever their reasoning is, they're choosing their own alignment intentionally. They're choosing that intentionally. So whether they look like they're selfish or whatever it is, sometimes it can be a good thing, and sometimes it can be overly zealous, like just too much. Too much of something is not good. So when we find, like, when celebrities hit their rise, or anybody that hits that rise, people are literally like, okay, they're about to fall back down. They're gonna fall down. Because when you hit those rises, it's almost as if they've never been there before, like being on the top of the mountain. How can I be on the top of the mountain here, and then I see the other mountain here? What bridge do I build, or what do I know to understand that I don't have to go back down again? I can just go across. That's
sustainability.
That's it. Yes. Because what we're being taught is that we have to do things in a timely manner. This is going to take 3 weeks. This is going to take 4 months. This is going to take a year. Who says that? Who said that it's going to take that time?
Well, like craftsmen.
Right. Because it's based off of them. Right?
Yeah.
So the things that we're giving people, we're like, oh, it's going to take X amount of time. No. Because even that in a sense can lock people into, okay, so I have to stay here.
Or
now I'm talking
now
I'm talking about 2 things here, meaning that it can be good and it can be bad. In a bad sense is that, okay, here I am, I built this list that is going to take me 3 months to do this, right? This is my list to do this for 3 months, 90 days. Okay, great. Here you have somebody else that just like, okay, well, I see what I can do in a day. And if I do this in a day and I collapse all of this crap, and I find where I can stack it and I look at it differently, I can actually do this faster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so instead of creating, for example, like a to-do list with this is all the things I need to do, it's like, well, you could think about it that way and give yourself a certain amount of time to do it, or you could tackle the one thing that maybe you enjoy doing the most, or you can do the fastest, or you're the best at.
That will open up everything else. Yeah. So a lot of us are like, oh, I'm just going to take the long journey. The only way you're taking the long journey is because you're not confident. That's it in a nutshell, right then and there. If you do not take the action now, it's because you're not confident and you don't believe in it. And the only reason I'm speaking like this is because I'm speaking from experience.
So when people say that confidence comes from experience or from proof that you have done what you've been able to do,
I believe that it is more proof than anything, because I don't care what anybody says, everybody loves praise. They love to be praised, and people around you will be like, oh yeah, well you're doing so good. Even when I'm talking about relationships, you want people to speak into your listen. You want people to speak life into you. You're so amazing. You're so powerful. Now imagine if I said, I hate you. You suck. You're never going to be good at anything. You feel the difference. So it's like, I don't even want to be around you. Like, you just suck the fun out of everything. And when it's the suck, it's like, literally took it from you.
Yeah.
So when you can speak life into someone, you're channeling that energy. So that doesn't mean that it's just them. It's a feedback to you. So now I'm going to be like, oh, I'm just going to be nice to everyone because it's going to come back to me. No. You have to genuinely mean that. So that in itself is going to bring up a lot of self-worth. It's going to bring up a lot of shame. It's going to bring up a lot of jealousy. It's going to bring up envy. It's going to bring up all these things because you have to look at yourself. And then you're going to be like, well, because of this, then you're going to start defending. Why are you defending an old identity that needs to go, and life is asking you to grow, to be better than where you were yesterday? So I don't believe in, oh, we got haters and we got that. No, these people are really just distracted. And even in the point of hate, there's a fine line between love and hate. So they love what they're watching and they hate that they can't do it, or they feel that they can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh, well, look at her. What makes her? Well, what makes you think you can't do it?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Because you're over here telling me that I can't, but I really feel that I can. And if you're feeling some type of way, well, what makes you think you can't be here with me, or even further, or on another side?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And along the confidence aspect,
Mm-hmm.
like pursuing things that are in alignment with your highest self.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like a lot of people pursue things because of money,
Mm-hmm.
or because maybe they have this idea that this is how they'll get love, but then they end up pursuing something that might not intrinsically like fulfill them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do you think confidence has an aspect there to where it's like, if you're really meant to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and you on a deep cellular level know that,
Then it becomes a knowing. Then it becomes a knowing. There's stillness in the calm, in the storm. Like, you don't even have to be like, oh, I'm just gonna. No, you're just. I already know what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna sit here and watch everything flow by, and in about 5 minutes, that door's gonna open and all of this shit's gonna fly. I know that I can stay right here though. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's having that inner knowing, because you stepped out, you stepped into a higher form of yourself, past confidence now, right? You can even call that as a 3D emotion, because it's a driver, it's a willpower. And then at the same time, when you have knowing, inner knowing, that means that it's as simple as me going outside and watering the plants because I know that they're gonna grow. It's not a competition. My ears are ringing left and right.
That's so funny. I just trimmed that plant because I was like, oh, it is.
Yeah, and it did it take ego to do that? No. It was just all knowing.
Actually, it took stepping outside the ego instead of being like, oh, like, what's wrong? Did I do something wrong? Like, you know, why isn't it growing? I was like, you know what? I think it just needs a trim.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, and you literally look at it like that, and then you can be questioning, well, am I doing this enough? Am I doing that enough? Well, I don't have time for the, and then you can just, it could take you on a whole roller coaster of feeling not necessarily like a victim, but that you're not being loved. And that you're not being taken care of. Victimization is a feeling of, I'm not being taken care of. My environment is not serving me. I need to release. And we make fun of people. We're like, oh, well, you need. No, we're learning that we're all emotional beings. And sometimes all it takes is a hug for somebody to just be like, and then even then they can feel like shy about it or whatever, but they should not, because it is a form of release. It has nothing to do with, oh, I just cried and like I was weak. No, that's powerful. Because the person that emerged from all those tears, be careful with that person. Because that person just went through an alchemized process, a cycle. How they choose to see it or not to elevate them to their next step, or either they'll cycle again, beware of that person.
Okay. So, bringing it to what we just did.
Mm-hmm.
For example, people who, you know, like, I was diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and CPTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt frustrated with the medical system because I was like, this is putting labels on me, and then my brain takes those labels and then is like,
puts a cap on it.
Yes. And is like, suddenly it's this box where you're kind of like, am I capable of this? Am I not capable of this? Is like, am I gauging my perception of reality correctly.
So I like that you said that, because it's showing something that with these labels, it puts a cap on where someone can go, where they think they can go. I deal with so many clients who have so many type of ailments, and they tell me this and they tell me that. I'm not supposed to be this, I'm not supposed to be that. I had a lady that she got into a car accident in April. It aggravated the car accident. I'm going somewhere with this. It aggravated the pain from 1988. So as I'm working on her whole torso, if she's right, shifted like this, right? So her sacrum, lumbar, was a little bit higher, right? So she's going to physical therapy. She's been going to physical therapy since April for this same exact pain, right? So I'm seeing it. I'm seeing like one cheek is down and one cheek is up, and I'm like, oh. So I asked her what happened, and she's like, oh, that's where it is, that's where it is. All I had to do was just go in there, press down, move her bone down, loosen up keep doing that over and over, loosen up the joints, and then go in there and pacify the muscle, letting you know that everything is okay, because it remembers. So like, everything is fine. It's a particular type of touch to be able to release what's stored in the body, right? So we're talking about anxiety, we're talking about depression, we're talking about all these things. We're not realizing that as we're diagnosing our children of where it's coming from. A child is an offspring of what came before. You are the product of your mother and father. Your mom's a product of her mother and father, and vice versa, and vice versa, and vice versa, right? The energy is going back that way. So where is it coming from? So we remove that part of, okay, how are we raising our children? And it's not that our children have anxiety, depression, ADHD, all of these type of things that they can't even pronounce. It's not that they have that. They do not. It is a cap. Because I don't want the children that are coming in now, because they're born with a higher frequency, they're born with a higher vibration, they're more kinetic, which is why we're starting to see our environment is starting to match that. That's why if it gets just a little bit faster and we adjust to that, we're like, oh my God, I feel like I can do that. Everything's just moving on my terms. Like, I feel like I can just move. Like, life is moving with you. Yeah. Because you wouldn't have to have that pace of slowing down.
What do you mean by that? Like,
what I mean is that those, okay, so let's say anxiety, depression. That's an inversion point. Anxiety, depression, extreme. These are two extremes. Here, balancing them, polarity, temperance, yes, and riding that flow. So it's like a child. I watched a child today. She literally, she wanted to take a bear at the store, and her mom was like, no, 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 and she crying. I'm just looking at her, and we're smiling. We're all just, oh, geez, again. But then when she gets in the car, like, I hear her grandmother telling her, we ain't got no money for that, baby. We ain't got no money up in here. And then the little girl's like, ah! And then I went back in the store a third time, because I don't understand why it was happening like this. And 3 times going back in the store, girl. Anywho.
Oh my gosh, did you forget something?
Apparently the cashier thought I did. So I'll go back outside, and she's quiet. The kid's quiet. She moves on from that space. She dials back from that space.
So she expresses as much as she wants to.
And then releases it back. So what validates this space is the conditionings that we get from our elders. That's too much money. I don't have money. I don't have money for that. I don't have money for this. So in that aspect, she was getting traumatized at the same time, that understanding that you can't get this because we have no money for it. Or instead of saying, no, sweetheart, you have one at home, you need to use the ones at home. Not everything that we see we must take like that. You know what I mean? Changing the wording up just a little bit so they can understand that how to use temperance. Because we've seen that it can go in extremes where children, they get everything they want, they turn into little assholes. Children who don't get everything they want, they turn into philosophers. You know what I mean? So you find the temperance in that. There are some that are completely grateful for what they have and they want to give it to everyone because they're in that fine line, right? Those who have charities, those who have whatever it is. There's different lines of people, how you look at them based off of how they view self. If I feel that I'm unworthy, if I feel that I'm this, I'm that, more than likely you're gonna see me doing a desk job or a more physical job because I didn't take the time to build up my credit. I didn't take the time to, give myself a little bit more, give myself a business because I didn't feel that I was worth it. So I'm gonna come up with all these scenarios and say, okay, I did this and I did that, right? The anxiety and the depression comes in when your body is looking to regulate that emotion. And if you're being given prescription drugs or being told that you need to just numb yourself or whatever it is, anxiety is the insinuation of growth to the next level. So it's alchemizing those fears, and it's not necessarily fears that are coming up, it's the body that is alchemizing. So what we're feeling is the uncomfortable transitional process before it becomes an actual landing point. So let's say I get an idea, I feel excited about it, but then all of a sudden I get anxiety because but the anxiety is the excitement.
It's just your brain taking it and going, how am I going to do this? How is it?
Right, because we're being told that anxiety is you like out of whack. You need to come back down. But it's a straight shot of dopamine. It's a straight shot of adrenaline. Oh, I can do that. Yes. A straight shot of motivation. But every little minute thing about you is manipulated.
By this societal narrative?
I can take anxiety of what you have and say that that's a superpower. I can say that the depression that you have is a superpower because if you can sit in there and sit in silence and watch everything and you're disassociated, you're in an observant space. If you're in high anxiety, you're like with the fairies, you're like pixie dust, la 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 la. And then you just have to learn how to just ride that medium. We're being taught life in extremes, black and white, remember? So all the shades of gray, there's so many shades of gray, undertones and overtones. That's where life really is. Because what we're finding in movies, serial killers still live. And what we're finding in movies that wives can kill their husbands and 5 years later they live in a nice community. It's the morality of what their story is. So now what is the story that led to this? Which is why the hero's journey is so huge. Because if I can relate to you as to why you killed this person,
then you understand.
There's a deeper understanding than the laws that exist.
Ooh, yes. So like law is very black and white. Like this is right, this is wrong, this is
laws, labels. You have anxiety, depression, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. By the time you're 35, expect this. By the time you're 40, expect this. Which is why I'm like, no, I'm not, like, you should not submit yourself to those things, those type of labels, because it's taking that away from you.
Yeah.
Your ability to move freely. Your ability to be creative.
Yeah, in favor of conformity or whatever.
Which makes you rigid, stagnant, sedentary for all these things to set in. And then they come in and say, oh, let us take care of you. And then the other side of the government's like, no, you need to go find work. It's duality at its finest, but you don't realize that they're doing the push and pull. And it's just red and blue.
Red and blue. What made you say red and blue?
Those are the colors. Push and pull.
Whoa.
Which is why you see so many businesses go for a Republican.
Because they're more in favor of
independence. And they realize that there are a set of people who are like, no, you have to do this for me. No, you have to do that. When you go back deep into where these political parties came from, let's just say that the same ones that enslaved people are the same ones that people go gung-ho for. So we say, oh, we're for the people, we have this, we have that. They can combine both of them, you know. Because they both have, you create a business, we'll take care of you. Or we're for the people, create a business. We the people, we're for the people, make America great again through money, finances, blah, blah, blah. You can combine them.
Yeah.
But they go to extremes because they want extremes.
Because this idea of like scarcity, I mean, I don't know if we want to go there.
The idea of scarcity is not being able to see the bigger picture. So you're stuck in one container. You're not realizing there is a picture that's out there with like this pony or like whatever. It's in the field, and it has like this fence around it. It's a little fence, probably about like right here, and it's just looking around, and it's like I can't get out, but there's an open field, and all it sees is just this, and it's like, what? So scarcity is subjective to a person's perception. So people told me that I couldn't do what I did with my prices and all of these things, right? They told me that I couldn't do it. On the other hand, when I continuously decided to post and just stay true to like what I'm doing, just be myself, I was finding people. I'm finding people who value that. And with their value of me showing up in their space and how they felt about it, they gave back tenfold. Because they felt the value that was given to them, and vice versa. It's always a give and a take. It's never take and it's never give. It's always back and forth. That's the beauty of a perfect relationship, because you want to pour into someone and you want someone to pour into you. If you think that there is scarcity, you'll start to pull away. You won't have relationships. You're gonna look at everything as a problem. You're gonna see everything as spending money. You're gonna see everything as, oh my God, I just love. You don't want to be around those people. There are people who literally spend like that and think about the money as they're having fun or whatever it is. Like they can't be present. You know what I mean? Where is it gonna come from? All of that.
And is that coming from the body?
Yes. So it's coming from the body. It's coming from the conditioning of the body. It's coming from what they learned. Remember, I was talking about the 4-year-old girl. Grandma's telling her, baby, we ain't got no money for that. We ain't got no money for them toy. And the toy's probably $7.
And does that live in like her muscles?
With her crying and her screaming, that toy was everything to her. Everything. She didn't see nothing. She didn't see us in there. She was about to walk out the store with the toy because she was like, I want this. And then here you have, the limitations, the restrictions. No, you can't take that toy. No, mom's not gonna get it. You have 2 of them at the house. She was about to let her daughter walk out with it. And I saw it, but I'm not gonna say nothing. Because that to me touched my heart. That means that she doesn't have a lot of things. Right? So I was just about to be like, I don't know nothing. Take the goddamn toy. I don't know nothing. So it's morality in the sense that this child was experiencing something very traumatic for her. So she's either gonna be like, she can do it 2 ways. I need to make my own money to get what I want, or I'm never gonna get what I want. It can go either way.
Because I was gonna say establishing temperance. It's a practice, right?
It's a practice. It's a communicative practice. It's an act. It's how you speak to someone. It's how you show up for them. They always like, well, I want to be a good person. Well, I'm going to do this. You're just doing the acts. What is the reasoning behind it? Because you're going to feel resentful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If someone is not reciprocating that back to you, what are you really doing it for then? Because there's motivation and there's manipulation. Are you doing it to manipulate them, or are you doing it to motivate them? Because if there's a hidden agenda, maybe they picked up on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it's like, I know that you're kissing ass. What do you want?
Yeah.
Or, you know, if I want something from someone, how do I genuinely do this and include them at the same time, which is what we're supposed to be doing with one another. You're talking about forms of collaboration, joint ventures, all of these things. They are all talking about, let's pool our ideas together and see how we can come up with something, and then let's just have it backed by paperwork so we both know where we stand. That is not an issue. That should not be an issue at all. Like, we have everything in writing, this is where it's going. Because when money starts flowing in and when abundance starts flowing in, it starts to change people. It'll amplify more of who they are. And people hide who they are. They hide it. The only way you'll be able to figure it out is by habits and behavior. How they act and what they're acting in.
Ooh. What they're acting in.
Right. So I don't drink, and a lot of people, they're like, you know, whatever, to each his own. But I've stopped it, right? And what I find is that I found some people in this sector who drink quite a bit. And when they're like that, it's like, okay, well, what are you running away from?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We can drink to be casual.
It's an extreme. That
Yes.
addiction.
Yes. Because you want to bury it down. How are you going to bury it? Either we talk about it or you learn to move from it. If I'm upset about something, I got to get up and do something about it. I'm going to get up and do these 50 squats. I'm going to get up and do these push-ups or whatever it is, and just start from there. It's us thinking that we have to go to the extreme to be like, okay, well, I got to do this. I actually got to do 3 sets of this, 3 sets of blah, blah, blah. Well, who says that?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything is subjective. So if I tell myself I do 25 squats and I get a body like that, and if I really, really believe it, all I'm going to show is I'm just doing that. So why is it that there are people on Instagram, and to each his own, whether they're lying or not, can go to the gym and get that body, or can go to the gym and not get that body, or can do calisthenics or whatever it is and get that body better than in the gym than going in the gym, and vice versa? It is a point of belief and how much you can really transform your body. So with things like anxiety, depression, they put caps on your ability to strive for more, to see more. So what we do in these sessions is opening up these channels, because these channels are primordial. What I mean by primordial, they're very elemental. And when we go down into the depth of what they are, it alchemizes your body to where you are now. So it almost feels like, oh, I feel this, or oh, I feel that. It could be a couple of days where it finally registers what actually happened, because you're still downloading things through. What I'm doing and what we're doing here is very archaic to what's really happening. We're staying in an incubative space with the chakras and meridians and all this. Like, there's so much more.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're realizing that wealth is tied to emotion. Oh, go figure. Before like, take all of your emotions out of it. Now we're realizing that that's what it is. Okay, so let's go a little bit deeper. Because now you put a flashlight on all these people and say, well, you must feel like shit. That's why you ain't got none. You know what I mean? So it's exposing something new. Even though it needs to be exposed, it's going to expose something new for people. So they're going to be like, oh man, I guess I must feel like this because I'm like this. Kind of, but not really. Because you can get things done without money. How did we do it before?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's say you were able to get a flight to go here, and everything of what you're doing is taken care of, and you know, you're asking yourself, okay, so how did I end up here? Am I in alignment with what I'm doing, or am I being taken away from what I'm supposed to be doing? And if you are in alignment, then somehow you've activated a wealth frequency where everything is taken care of for you. Nothing is coming out of your pocket.
Uh-huh.
And it's aligning with your goals and your dreams. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. Because instant manifestation is like that. When I was 4 years old, I attempted to teleport to my aunt's house. Yes. And I remember just closing my eyes and I was like, and I kept doing this. Like getting ready to jump out of my body. You see where my head is going, right?
Uh-huh.
It's going to the right.
Yeah.
Exit point. Exit point. Exit point. I wanted to leave. But I remember at 4 years old that my body was so heavy. I wanted to cry how heavy it was. And I felt so claustrophobic.
Uh-huh.
Think of being packed down with something. like packed.
Yeah.
And I just, yes, it made you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I've had that feeling ever since I was 4 years old. So when things are on me or something, I'm just like, get off. Or I have to control my breath. Because from that time, I remembered that I attempted to leave my body, and because I didn't remember or understand that I'm in a body, I wanted to just take my essence and just be gone, and it wouldn't happen. And I remember crying and crying and crying, and I hated it. I hated that I came here. I hated that it was so heavy. I hated that I was so restricted. And that carried on instead of integrating with my body through breath.
So now, as your adult self, what would you tell the 4-year-old self?
To breathe.
How would you deal with that? To breathe.
To breathe. That you can integrate your body with your soul. You just have to breathe. You have to let your nervous system do what it needs to do. You have to let the binding process happen, and it happens through breath. So those deprivation chambers, there's a shamanic ritual where they wrap you up and it's a form of death. We had to do it for priestess, like the day before was to get wrapped up, everybody wearing black and reading your eulogy that you write. And then, and then the next day you emerge, bright colors, and you're writing your commitment to priestess. So the day before when she did it with me one time, months before my mentor, and I remember flipping out. I couldn't breathe. She just had it right here, bro. And I was like, and I had to expose this area for me to be like, okay, I'm okay. But what I was seeing that I was being wrapped around and pulled, wrapped around and pulled, wrapped around and pulled over and over again to be able to release the thread. It was raveling and pulling, raveling and pulling. And I felt myself being born again. Like I felt my birth when my mother gave birth to me. So it's another form of claustrophobic, where yes, that space, that I felt all of it when I was wrapped like that. And I was like, oh my God, I remember my birth. And how it was very painful for my mother, very difficult. There was a point where like I kind of got stuck a little bit, like I'm feeling all of that. So there's points of where souls decide to come in, and I decided to come in at that point. It was so stupid. It's like I could have came in after and whatever. But the point of these sessions are to wake people up from where they are, to talk about, their multidimensional selves, because it does exist. So this is something that we need to make more mainstream, and to talk about it, like what's inside of me, because it's not just one soul. You got a whole library of things in there. You got so many things in there that exist.
And how do you live your life like being the creator, or
understanding that you are the creator, understanding what it takes to understand that you are the creator. What does life look like? Can I pick up this door, or can I not pick up this door? Do I have to use the door, or can I just walk through it? What does that mean to be the creator? What does that mean to live like that? If you don't know, you don't know. So we're being told, do this, do that. Okay, well, how? Some of us are just discovering it on our own. Some of us are waking up to it, literally. And some of us need our hands held, because we cannot let go of the emotional burdens that have come before us. So the children now that are being born with all of these things, think of it as the generation before didn't do anything, and it got passed on, because it is a DNA process. It doesn't matter if I have you and like your mother and father had you. It's a completion of a process of them. So what came out of them? Everything that they didn't do and everything they did do, and vice versa. Everything. So if I stop it now, it reverberates. It creates. Energy moves both ways, forwards and backwards. It's going to carry it forward, but it's also going to change the spread backwards.
And you're talking about like the emotions they carry, or the trauma,
the emotion, the trauma, the toxins. Think of it like a car. You know, you get a tune-up, you need an oil change, your engine's going bad, the exhaust is either going to be a white or a black or just smelly. You know, when you take off, you're like, oh, you need an oil change. It's the same concept. You go in there, you shift the oil. It changes the flow of the exhaust, but it's still giving out some form of release, because the release is the propeller. Remember I said polarity. One side of you is right here and the other side is right here. You are maintaining that engine. Your higher self and your lower self. You are maintaining that.
That is the...
Yeah. Where your point of consciousness, your essence is now, is learning temperance, how to manage that. Because this can go any which way. That you can smile at me or you can cuss me out. You have the capability. But right now you're practicing temperance because you're sitting calm. There are some things that you're like, but it's not like that. You're using that as fuel. For me, I could be upset with the way how things are going. So what am I going to do about it? Am I going to complain? Am I going to moan? Or am I going to grow? Like, oh, you're right. Am I going to alchemize? But okay, cool. I'm going to do this better. All right, constructive growth. Thank you. I'm going to do it better and not take it personally. And sometimes in that space of doing it better, and the person that was challenging you, especially if they're holding you accountable, they're going to be like, damn, you did that. And it's all of seeing you in your greatest when you're not, when you don't even see yourself at your greatest. That's the point of relationship. So when we're on the table and we're talking about these things, like, and we're doing this, it's seeing a person where they are and they agree to it, and we meet in the middle. It's like I'm running with one side of the string that you're looking for, and you're running with the main string of like, okay, well this is what I'm like, okay, well I think I have this in the back, because you're the one that's looking for it. All I'm doing is that one. Bring it forward.
Because I was going to ask a question about this. So when you say rewrite DNA or rewrite according to like your highest self, it's kind of like, okay, so if I'm like the only one who really knows what my highest self is, but I don't see that right now, how can I feel safe knowing that like someone else is choosing, or like how does that work? Like,
because yourself never leaves. I'll tell you that much. Somebody is always talking to me when I'm in session. Always. And they'll tell me, go here, do this, touch that, open this, pull that, do that. And it'll literally show me how to do it. So in every session is different. So the points that I hit, what I find is that this person is releasing their defense mechanisms. Because their body is saying this is okay. So I'm overriding the thought process by just getting into the port. By the person saying, yes, I want to do this session with you, they've already subjected to a yes. So they already opened their field. Because they've already done that, I'm already in it. Naturally. It's always been like that ever since I started with the human body. It's been something that I've had to like slow it down. Manage it, yes, because it would just be a one-way street. And I'm like, whoa, 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 like being hit with a fire hydrant and just like, and then waiting for it to be done, and then having to clean it all back up. You know what I mean?
Like
so for somebody,
what you're getting from people as you're working with them,
it opens up like floodgates, and I had to learn temperance for myself. So while I'm there working with someone, they feel the need to connect right away. They feel the need that they can trust. They feel the need that, okay, I think this is for me, or I do not think this is for me. I've had people say that too. They got like scared. I've had people get up out the chair. All these things because they're not ready to face that. The more a person is ready to face what's inside, they open up more. Which is what I was saying about the muscles. Like if they start to get tight, or a person's like, oh, this is too much. Like it's not that I'm hitting the muscle. I'm hitting their pain point. I'm hitting what's in there. It has nothing to do with the muscle. It has nothing to do with deep tissue. It has everything to do with the energy that is stored in that space. So if I'm pressing it, it's like
because they haven't
released it. So what I do, like what I was telling you, they taught us a spot of 3s. First one, very light. Second one, a little pressure. Third one, going with the pressure that you're going to use. Because you're pacifying the muscles. They always told us to work with the muscles. We're talking to the muscles. Our hands are talking to the muscles. So if somebody's extremely traumatized, right? I told you I get a lot of first ones. And they're like, wow, I would have never had anybody touch my body. I'm like, wow, I feel extremely honored because I spend a lot of time to make sure that my touch is inviting because of what I'm doing. It's a language. If I touch you a certain way, you can tell, like in your relationship, if your boyfriend touches you a certain way, there's something wrong. You can tell when your girlfriend's touching you a certain way, something's wrong. You can translate that message because it's hitting your skin. Your nervous system is an extension. Your nervous system is an extension of the skin. So if I touch anywhere here, I am in contact with my nervous system. I move past the muscular, the fascia, the interstellar, the tissue that sits there, the lymph nodes, all of that. I move all past it, the fatty lipid, all of it, and I'm touching the nervous system. So if I do this or if I do this, I'm like, oh, they grabbed me a certain way, or oh, they did this. Right?
Yeah.
So if I'm able to do this all over your body, all of a sudden you went, and I didn't even know how you fell asleep because I hit on those receptors, and the receptors started working. They started coding something completely different. DNA works like blockchains. There's 4 different proteins, amino acids, or however what we work with, and they create the structure of who we are. These 4 things. So in these 4 things, they're based off of different elements. They give off different colors. They give off different chemical. If you look at the periodic table, they are different elements that exist there, and one of them is hydrogen. Terrence Howard was talking about this, and as I was looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, we are consistently with these elements over and over. Hydrogen, phosphorus, nitrogen, sulfur, missing one. I said phosphorus.
Carbon?
Yes, carbon. These main 5 or 6 sit in the chakra system, okay? And if their equation is just one off electron here or one off there, it's going to give a different answer to the equation. Does that make sense?
So I'm thinking of fasting and like the chemical composition in your body. Is that what you're talking about?
So let's talk in regards to fasting. So if you're fasting, what you're doing is you're pulling all of these things out, right? Because you're forcing your body to bind with what's there. Now the body is going to move itself back to homeostasis because there's nothing foreign that's coming in. So what it's going to do is take what's stored. Okay, I don't need this, I don't need that. Okay, we'll take you. It's like cleaning house, and most people are hoarders. So you're cleaning house, you're doing all these things, deodorizing the body, it's getting rid of the toxins, it's alchemizing the body again. You ever notice when you fast for a good amount and then you eat the food, you can taste everything of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. And if it's something good too, you're like, oh my God, like this feels like it feeds my soul.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's like that. So you're putting yourself through this process of pranic, I want to call it like pranic healing or pranic energy, because it's pure prana that's doing this. It's that process of forward movement. So your body's going to continuously want to feed. It's going to feed off of yourself to get rid of what's in, parasites, toxins, bowel movements. All of these things are going to start moving out of the body. Calcium deposits, all of these things that have been sitting in the muscles, they all get to release. That's why they say drink lots of water, do electrolytes, all of these things, and it gives you a clearer state of mind because the food or whatever you were consuming was getting you away from the emotion that you were attempting to like push down. Yeah. So discipline, meditation, stop eating, all of these things force you to go inside, and people go to retreats and all of these things because they cannot control the process of always putting something in.
It's like people who overspend.
People overspend, people who overindulge. Like I've seen that so much, and I see how much they expand. It's like, do you really need all these things? Do you really need to eat so much? No, we don't. We don't even need to eat that much at all. Right? To sustain our bodies, we don't. You're talking about, you know, fitness. We don't even need that much to sustain our body either. You know what I mean? So it's like stacking, so you become completely dependent on things outside of you. I gotta get the supplements. I gotta get the protein shake. I gotta do that. I gotta. You don't. It's teaching you proper discipline to get you to where you want to go. If I had all of these things, okay, I'll tell you two like this. I used to do the gym 4 to 5 times a week, sometimes 6 times a week, 2 to 3 hours a day in the gym. Based off of those numbers, do you think I had time to do anything else?
Not much.
No, couldn't even travel. I couldn't go anywhere because I was so obligated and stuck to the gym. And for somebody that's like that, like if you go every day and you miss one day, it's detrimental. It messes with your mind.
Because you become attached to that as your self-worth, or
oh, I didn't go today, so my body's gonna look like shit. Like what? No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it becomes an extreme. Versus if I can learn how to do it, whether I'm around the house or like if I'm doing yard work or whatever it is, I'm more conscious of my body. We remove all those things and we separate them. And then we're like, oh, well, I don't have time to go to the gym, but you be cleaning your house, right? You be doing stuff outside. Okay, so just be conscious of that. If you're picking something up, do a couple of squats with it. Do some overheads with it, whatever it is. How do you think that they did it back then? And not only that, it's the feeling of self. If I feel good in my environment, and I'm gonna wrap with this, if my environment is good, I'm not gonna need to go to the gym as much because it's an 80-20 rule. 80% nutrition, 20% workout, exercise, and we focus on the 20%, and we forget everything else. So, like to wrap up and to say everything of what this is, it's like learning how to find temperaments, learning how to use your body as a tool, learning that it's not so much outside of yourself with these extra tools that we got to carry with us. It's learning how to use the tools within, because we are understanding how to create tools outside of us. Instead of understanding ourselves, we want to understand something outside. And it's a good reflective point, but there's going to be a moment when you have to come back inside. Because what's outside of you is a finished object. It will never progress on more than where it is. This pillow will never be more. This blanket will never be more. This couch will never be more. Is it going to be more than this? Is it going to evolve on from this? Or is it always going to stay a couch?
Only unless someone with a consciousness chooses, okay, I'm going
to accelerate the growth.
And that's a reflection of them.
Exactly. So this right now is a couch. It's just holding me up, but this is a finished product. That's all it will ever be. The beautiful thing about us is that we do have consciousness. We do have free will, and it's in the free will and the consciousness that expands us and exposes us to more. And that's all I got.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't even realize like how